Hi everybody, Mr. Anthony presents Mr. A's Astro Weather Channel, and today I am doing the astrology of Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States. Date of birth, April 26, 1970 in Yugoslavia. So let's take a look at Melania Trump's astrology chart of April 26, 1970. Let's take a look. So the first thing I'm seeing here for the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, born April 26, 1970, Yugoslavia. She's born with Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and Taurus the Bull. So she has 5 signs in Taurus. So is that good or bad, Mr. Anthony, or what? Well, it's neither. But she does have 4 signs in Taurus the Bull. Sun, I create. Saturn, I learn. Mercury, I think. Venus, I balance. All opposing Jupiter and Scorpio retrograde. So right off the bat, she has an opposition. She has the moon over here in Sagittarius in conjunction with Neptune in Sagittarius. So she has moon Neptune conjunction in Sagittarius. So Melania also has Mars in Gemini. Very interesting there. Why, Mr. Anthony? Because Melania has Mars in Gemini opposing moon Neptune in Sagittarius. So she has an opposition there.
You have a phone?
She's calling. That's her calling.
Who has a phone
That's
anymore?
the First Lady calling from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, she wants us to stop.
She's very impressive. Somebody's doing her chart. She's very impressive. Mr. Anthony knows how to read symbols. So she has Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus in Taurus. Date of birth, April 26, 1970, Yugoslavia. Opposing Jupiter and Scorpio. Her natal moon, conjunct Neptune in Sagittarius. She has Mars in Gemini, opposing moon, Neptune in Sagittarius. Then she also has Pluto retrograde in Virgo, Uranus retrograde in Libra, and Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio.
And Neptune retrograde.
And Neptune retrograde.
That's a lot of retrogrades.
So a lot of retrogrades. And then she's born with North Node in Pisces. So what does all that mean, Mr. Anthony? Tell us what that means. What it means right off the bat: Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, all in Taurus. She could either be a self-starter, self-absorbed, a leader, but she's also real serious. Saturn here means that she's real serious. Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn. Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini, Libra. Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus, Libra. So when it comes to love, and here's another thing about Taurus energy, since it's Earth. Taurus likes money, clothes, shoes, homes, pools, Mercedes, Camaro.
Very luxurious things.
Anything
soft,
that's luxury.
Plush.
Yes.
Bougie.
And then a lot of people say, well, Mr. Anthony, are most people like that? Well, I don't know. Melania was born April 26, 1970, Yugoslavia. It's true for her. Why? Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, all in Taurus the Bull. What's the nature of a bull? Likes to be in a corral. Likes to chew cud.
Well, they're territorial.
But bulls also are killed in the bull ring. You think bulls would figure out by now not to run after the matador with that red cape? Through osmosis? Hello! Opposing Jupiter and Scorpio. So how would you interpret that, dude? Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus opposing Jupiter and Scorpio retrograde. Is that good or bad or what? Lack of perspective? She grew up poor or rich? Or middle class in Yugoslavia?
Well, however she grew up, it was very restrictive.
Because of Saturn?
Yeah.
Okay. Restricted in what way? Money?
Financially, whether or not she was allowed to speak her own mind. Very strong mother and father, but it's like they had a heavy hand.
So the sun represents her symbolic dad, but Taurus is feminine, meaning the mother. So Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus indicates that she grew up in a very serious family. Her dad worked in the factory, and her mom was a pattern maker of some sort. So it sounds like maybe they were like working class people, maybe middle class, but not very rich.
And she will never, ever, ever be poor again. Ever.
Maybe she has something in mind that we don't know.
She will do anything to make sure she does not go through that again.
So, your interpretation of Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and Taurus with the First Lady's astrology chart of April 26, 1970, opposing Jupiter and Scorpio means that she has lack of perspective on making her own money, and that the opposition means that she goes outside of her own skills to get money?
Yeah.
Is that one interpretation?
Even being deceitful?
Okay, Moon, Neptune, and Sagittarius. Moon means the emotions, but Neptune here means deceit, lies, glamour, movies. She has the ability to be an actress. She has that ability. Neptune also represents fashion, movies, clothes.
Now, is this a square or a sextile between her North Node and Neptune?
North Node in Pisces, it's a square aspect.
Okay.
North Node in Pisces means her mission in life is to become spiritual.
Okay.
That's her mission in life, but it is in square aspect to Moon Neptune. The square means conflict and tension.
Right.
And that's a very good point, because she does have Mars in Gemini. In her natal chart, the First Lady of the United States, born April 26, 1970, she's born with natal Mars in Gemini, opposing Moon, Neptune, and Sagittarius. How would you interpret that, dude? Is she deceitful with her husband or deceitful with the public? Because Neptune means the public.
Well, so does 10th house.
Correct. You are correct. And she has Mars, which is a personal planet. Mars in Gemini means she could be bipolar.
Or bisexual.
Or both.
Yes.
Or she gets along with men and women on a social level. But opposing Moon, Neptune, and Sagittarius, how would you interpret that? Neptune also means being religious, spiritual.
Right.
And if it wasn't her, it's her parents. But let's come back to her basic chart. Neptune means her belief system. Retrograde. Neptune means I believe. The Moon means I feel. Her natal Jupiter retrograde in Scorpio. Scorpio means I desire to make money. I desire to have clothes. I desire to have a big house.
Well, I see this as a great manifestation aspect. Well, I guess we're done with that.
As far as what?
Because feelings is an indicator of what we are creating. Neptune is that spiritual aspect of the creation where we can bring it into manifestation here on Earth, and having all of this, especially Saturn and Sun in Taurus, is calling it down into a realization. But she can't do it alone. She has to do it through other people. Because this is her 11th house, right?
Correct.
Yeah, she has to do it through other people. Having contact with men, either sleeping around or a man, let's say maybe a husband, who is not really manly, but more of like a little boy to her, and she runs him.
Well, Mars represents the male energy in her life. Gemini represents the energy of talking, conversation, knowledge. So for the First Lady of the United States, born April 26, 1970 in Yugoslavia, this indicates that she likes men who are intelligent, likes to talk,
Witty.
Conversation, funny, okay? And like you said, it's in the 10th house, which is the house of status, public. But she does, here's another thing, Mars also represents sexual behavior.
Right.
So what I'm seeing here is that she may have, when she was single, before she married the president, she may have talked more about sex than actually doing it. Why? Because people were idealizing her or glamorizing her because of her looks. Because Moon Neptune means that she believes that she has to look good in public.
It's a dreamy thing too. Like there are certain people that have this dreamy look in their eyes, and they'll have a conjunction of Moon or Sun with Neptune, or they'll have Neptune on the ascendant, and they have this real Piscean, foggy
like
feel with them.
Like a cloud look, like water.
Very mysterious. Cloudy, and so people are drawn to her for that.
And as you can see here, everybody, Neptune's retrograde, Jupiter's retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, Pluto's retrograde. And what does that mean, Mr. Anthony, to get it bad? It means that she was very shy as a kid between the ages of 0 and 8. She was very shy. Why? Neptune retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Uranus retrograde, Pluto retrograde. But she has the moon in there. The moon never goes retrograde, neither does the sun. They're always direct. But she has this aspect, Moon Neptune, which means the moon here represents the home life. So this indicates with Moon Neptune that her parents idealized her. And with Mars and Gemini, they're expecting twins or a boy. But
how many kids do they have? Is she a single kid? Or an
she has a half brother and a full brother.
Okay. The thing about being an astrologer is we see things that people don't want to be seen.
This also indicates...
I see something with a brother here that was...
sexual?
Yeah.
Or something verbal?
I think it's sexual.
Okay. Well, Mars does mean sex. Mars and Gemini. Opposing Moon Neptune. Now, what you just said, if that's true, she's in denial.
Yeah.
Neptune means denial. It never happened. So again, we're interpreting charts. We're interpreting the symbols of astrology. This is the oldest language on the planet Earth.
And why is that? Because these were all here before we were.
These planets and the symbols of astrology, the language of astrology is a beautiful language. And if you learn how to read the language of astrology, you can do the same thing, boys and girls.
You can also understand the Bible better.
Exactly. So keep in mind, and here's the thing, another thing about the First Lady. Whenever you have a personal planet like the moon with Neptune, because Neptune means generations of people, so she would appeal to a lot of generations of women as far as her looks. Because she feels that she has to look beautiful every day. But that's what she believes. But Neptune here means either I believe or don't believe. But again, Neptune, the symbol of Neptune here means deception, lies, deceit.
Is this on her 4th house cusp?
Yes, it is.
Well, also, she would be very much like a 50s woman who wouldn't let her husband see her with like a clay mask on, or dyeing her hair, or curlers. And before he got home, she made sure she had her lipstick on, she had her apron on, she was in heels. And
well, that's a very good point, dude, because there's another part of astrology that we can look at for the First Lady of the United States, born April 26, 1970. She has Uranus in Libra, retrograde. Now, Uranus represents, Uranus is the frequency of rebellion, independence,
revolution,
ruled by Venus. And where does she have Venus? In Taurus, natally. Taurus wants stability.
Right.
But Uranus in Libra wants space and freedom. So in other words, Uranus is an outer planet, Neptune's an outer planet, Pluto's an outer planet, meaning when she's on TV, she appeals to a lot of people as an independent lady. Why? Because she has Uranus in Libra. She appears to be independent. Right. But is she really?
No, she can't function unless she's in a relationship. Then it has to be something to do with money.
Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, all in the sign of Taurus on April 26, 1970, opposing Jupiter and Scorpio. Opposition means she has fear of being alone or fear of making her own money, has to be in partnerships. Why? Because the ruling planet of Taurus is Venus.
And her marriage was a partnership. It was a money transaction. So where is her husband in this chart?
Okay, the President of the United States is born June 14th, 1946. So the President of the United States, President Trump, he has Sun, Uranus, in Gemini. And the First Lady of the United States has natal Mars in Gemini. So she has natal Mars in Gemini in conjunction with his Sun and Uranus in Gemini. So she's still visited by upheaval.
Well, what I see about that,
Mars in Gemini?
we call that synastry.
Correct.
When you lay another person's chart on top of this
Correct.
one, is that she projects onto him whatever happened here in her childhood from the cousin, the brother, and
so the president.
I see some kink that is.
The president has Sun in Gemini, Uranus in Gemini, President of the United States, and she has natal Mars in Gemini. So as you were saying, dude, that she projects her
whatever happened,
her home issues.
Yes, whatever happened there that stays hidden because she just doesn't want to look at it, comes out in a big, big way.
With her husband, the
yes.
president. Okay. So she projects any emotional abuse of her childhood, Moon Neptune, onto him, the president.
Yes.
Who's born, the President of the United States, President Trump. He's born June 14th, 1946, New York City. He's born with Sun, Uranus, and Gemini. The First Lady of the United States is born with natal Mars in Gemini, so that's a match. And another interesting thing about the President of the United States, he's born with natal Jupiter in Taurus.
Which is where her money
and what does
comes,
Melania have in Taurus?
Comes from.
Thank you very much. Melania has Sun.
He teaches her about money even.
The President has natal, President of the United States has natal Jupiter in Taurus. Now here's a match right here, everybody. His natal Jupiter in Taurus is in conjunction with her natal Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus. So you have another match.
But is his Jupiter retrograde?
No, it's direct.
Okay.
So Jupiter in Taurus means that the President comes from a family of money in a big way. Like generations is what that means. But Melania, she's born with Jupiter in Scorpio. So in summary, how would you interpret her astrology, dude? For Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States, born April 26, 1970. Would you call it a very harmonious chart?
She's like a Pandora's box.
So she does have...
She's got a chaotic mess inside.
I would say the main one that I see here is natal Mars in Gemini opposing Moon, Neptune, and Sagittarius. That means delusions. Also drug abuse in her family. Mental illness, suicide of some sort. There's something there in her family tree.
Okay, so her Pluto
Her natal Pluto's in
is
Virgo.
in 6th, in
Correct.
her health, her work.
Correct. So she has a strong work ethic. She desires to work hard. She's a workaholic.
Yeah, and that's supported by Jupiter and Scorpio.
Correct. So she has natal Jupiter in Scorpio, sextile Pluto and Virgo. It's a happy aspect. It's happy there, meaning positive. Natal Sun, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, and sextile aspect to her North Node in Pisces. So her mission in life is to help people to be compassionate. So she does have some positive aspects astrologically, but the main one that I'm seeing is Mars in Gemini.
Yeah, if that one's not looked at or kept under control, that will create major upheaval in her relationship.
That indicates she has a temper.
And with her children.
She has a temper with him, and he has a temper with her. The president. So would you say that she's an equal partner with the president?
I think they're equally crazy.
Or would you say that she dominates him with all the Taurus that she has?
I think she dominates him. And I think it's a show.
But she does have natal Uranus and Libra. And again, everybody, Uranus here means revolution, protest, to rebel against him. Libra means marriage. Now this part of her natal chart is going to come into effect as far as anything happening with the marriage between April and October of 2019.
Something could even happen to her husband
Correct.
around that time.
Because Libra does mean partnership. So it could even be, there's something there, it could be a divorce, separation that nobody knows about. Because once again, the First Lady is born with Moon Neptune aspect, which means she doesn't really appear, she's not really what she appears to be. Why? Because Neptune means deception, lies, deceit. It means what you see on camera, it's not how she is in real life. Because Neptune is the energy, the frequency of acting, drama. Would you say that she's close with her mother? With that Moon Neptune, the Moon means her mother?
Not in a healthy manner.
Or is she closer to her dad?
I think she's a daddy's girl.
With Mars and Gemini?
Yeah, daddy's girl. But there's nothing healthy about relationship to her mother and father.
So in summary, I would say she's a very interesting First Lady, a lot of dynamics here. And the wild card is going to be Uranus and Libra. So between April of 2019 and October 2019, there could be upheaval with her marriage. So we'll see what happens. This has been Mr. Anthony presents the astrology of Melania Trump for First Lady to First Lady. From fashion model to First Lady. Born April 26, 1970. Thank you. See you next time. Share, like, share.
Subscribe.
Share, like, subscribe. Thanks. See you next time.